Hello, 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 beautiful people. How are you today? Here we are, another episode of Relax and Raunchy Relationships podcast with me, Ingrid Galloway, and with my awesome guest. Today we are accompanied by Denise Hall, and she is the founder of Womb Devotion. From a young age, Denise has always been curious about the body, especially the energetic system. She's been learning and fine-tuning her healing and psychic skills. Ooh, I wish I have psychic skills. I don't. And allowing the expression of her sensitivity for 20 years. This has led her to train and get certification in therapeutic massage, psychosomatic therapy, tantra, mesotherapy, craniosacral therapy, and has a bachelor in social work. Wow, that's amazing, Denise. And Denise works one-on-one with clients, facilitate workshops, and runs retreats. So welcome, Denise.
Thank you, Ingrid. So, Ingrid Galloway is the founder and relationship coach and chief relaxation officer of KAHYANGAN, which means heaven. She has been a relationship coach for 12 years and a spa therapist for 22. She practices from KAHYANGAN in Sydney and from clients' homes, offices, and hotel rooms, online, and from retreat locations. Her work has always focused on stress, relaxation, and relationships, and always ready to look after loving and not so loving couples. I really like that. And broken, lonely hearted singles. She does one on one coaching sessions, group workshops, virtual retreats, and in person retreats.
Ah, thank you so much for your introduction, Denise. So my first question, I'm always curious, what is your why? Why do you do what you do?
So, yeah, so my why comes from unpleasant childhood and adult experiences, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Um, so when I learned to connect with my womb, this transformed my world and my healing. And you've got it cleared so much trauma. And so this got me on a path of exploring and going deep within my own psyche and healing generational trauma, as well as improving my own relationships.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess lots of therapists, they have hit their rock bottoms, and from that, then they become the therapists that help themselves and help others, I think. Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of therapists come from a very difficult background.
Yeah. And absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And why do you do what you do, Ingrid?
Right. So I came from a very religious family, and I observed throughout my years growing up of there's a lot of guilt and shame and suppressed anger in that, so didn't sit well with me, and so I escaped from my birth country, Indonesia, to Australia to be able to be myself, I guess. I have a very different mindset to most people around me back then. And I felt home in Australia, right? But however, uh, I came here to get married to my first husband. We were married for 10 years, and he wanted to change me to become who I was not. So it's interesting, escaping from one thing to another thing to try to be me, and I wasn't allowed back then. So after 10 years of abusive marriage, then I left. And in my self healing journey, I went to several self development seminars, seeing a couple of therapists, and went back to college to study counseling and life coaching. And straight away, I knew that I would be a coach, not a counselor, and my niche would be in relationship because I am passionate and compassionate to help others in similar sort of predicament. And yeah, and help them, you know, with some level of depression and anxiety that they may have, because I do experience that myself. And I'm very blessed with second husband now. We've been together for 14 years this year, and we'll be married for 13 years this year and have two kids. But then having kids, unfortunately, gave me pre and postnatal depression. So yeah, that's why if people come with some sort of mental health issues, I can totally relate and I feel empathy towards that. Yes, that's my why. And Denise,
Beautiful.
if you don't mind sharing about your expertise, you know, I normally ask 3 tips about my guest expertise. I'm curious to find out what is womb healing, because I don't know it myself. And what are the 3 tips to understand the emotions behind it and the ways to access them?
Yeah, sure. So, womb healing is having or taking time to connect to your womb every day. And so, because the womb is a organ that receives from around its center. So, as women, we have a womb, and the organ is known as a receptive organ, and so we receive through the womb as women. And therefore, we absorb emotions, whatever's happening in our relationships with partners. As you said, you know, postnatal depression, pregnancy, fertility issues. And so, when the womb is in her optimum position in the pelvic bowl, she is there's more flow in the circulation system. Just the connection between the womb and the heart is stronger for a woman, and a woman being more grounded and in her power. And so the first thing I like to teach women is to start gently massaging their womb in bed at night before they go to sleep, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Even if you've got your period or have an IUD, just put your hands on your womb, and a bit like Reiki, just send good vibes to your womb. And this sort of activates the memory in the womb, or what you can be holding there. Um, does that make sense for you, Ingrid?
Yeah, so sorry, I'm just going to stand up just so I get it right. So
Yep,
place your hand here.
yep.
Yep.
So, all right, that's a good question. So, just above your pubic bone. So, find your pubic bone.
All right.
So it's between
Over here, so
between your
you can see. So that's my pubic bone, and so just
yes,
above, like that.
that's right. And just hold it or gently massage it up towards your belly button. Now, if you're menstruating, we don't recommend massaging. Just put your hands there and send your womb good vibes. You know, a happy thought, a positive thought. And this is a really good way to activate the nervous system and get connected.
Uh-huh. So, ladies, you saw my positioning, so I hope I got it right. Yeah, so you can start
Wonderful.
massaging upwards towards your belly button and send loving
Yes,
thoughts and good vibes.
yes, yes. And another tip that I really like to work with women is finding out how you were born, asking your mother what kind of birth she had with you.
Mhm.
Was it fast? Was it slow? Did she have drugs? Were you breech birth or cord around the neck? All these birth stories gives you a really full picture subconsciously of why we behave the way we do at times. So, for example, um, there's a more if you want to do more reading about it, it's Sandra Ray. She's the rebirther who brought it into the world of how our birth imitates our life and our behaviors. And so, for example, a breech baby will often feel they're not connected to mum, so they can be really, really clingy. And so it's like they don't want to be born because of they're not maybe taking on the thought of that they're not going to be lovable enough or the wrong sex. So they hold themselves back in the womb. Another thing that can happen is so having that information really gives a really full story of your own birth and your mother's attitude towards birth. And that is that lineage and ancestral belief that we take on at birth and keep living with. And this can change when you're a growing woman and having your own children, changing those birth stories.
Wow.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a connection. My firstborn,
Yeah.
she had, well, a very traumatic labor, and it was 5 days, and eventually we end up with emergency cesarean, otherwise both of us would die. Um, and I remember that when she was in kindy in year one, she would cling to my leg and didn't want to go to the classroom. She just like a koala to my leg.
Yeah.
She didn't want to let me
Yeah.
go, and she's highly anxious. So I wonder whether
Yeah.
that has the connection.
Yes, really fantastic work out there by Sonja Ray and Leonard Orr and others. And so there's a therapy called rebirthing, which is fantastic for clearing these birth memories.
Mm,
And yeah, really interesting work. But
amazing.
I just linking that in once again. This is, you know, the genetics that we pass through the generations, and what we hold on to, and even for yeah, this is a good example. My I held on to a lot of my grandmother's issues, and I didn't know that until I actually started doing womb healing work on myself.
Mm,
And it was like, oh my God, that's my grandmother, you know. And so it's really subtle. It's very subtle and yeah, life changing.
wow. Thank you for sharing that. Uh, any other tips that you want to share?
The other thing is, so I spoke about massaging. Oh yeah, so from a Meissen point of view, Meissen therapy, um, there's with the womb when she's in her optimum position in the pelvic bowl, there's less menstrual pain. There can be less disease and other issues going on in the pelvic bowl, but there's really good natural therapies that our ancestors have been using for centuries. Indonesian, you know, look at, I don't know about yourself, Ingrid, but within Meissen, we use a lot of Indonesian, Malaysian techniques,
Oh, wow.
traditional ones that your great grandparents may have used,
Yes.
and the very simple healthcare practices for women at home, even if you've had your babies. So, such as for cesarean, you know, cesarean scars, some women can still experience pain 6 years later after having their babies. So there's really great things that you can do for yourself at home to reduce that and eradicate it. Mm.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom there.
Thank you. Now, what about you? What are your tips?
Yeah, so my tips about relationship, because I give different tips different week. Today, I would like to
Yeah.
say about how to stay connected when you are so busy with various commitments and understanding each other's currency, or to make yourself and your partner feel heard. So number one, I will say write a to-do list. As women, oh, we're so excellent in making to-do lists, right? Even very, very long to-do lists, especially for moms. But my suggestion is focus on the top three priorities. So you can write your long one, your long list, but on the side, make sure that you have three top 3 priorities so you don't feel overwhelmed, because we tend to get overwhelmed with so many things that we have to do. We like multitasking and whatnot, which apparently not the best way of doing things. But at least if you do at least your top 3, then it will minimize overwhelm. Number 2, schedule in minimal once a week for your relationship to be on your top 3 to-do list so you don't miss out. So there's no excuse not to connect with your partner and put your relationship first. It's so easy for parents especially, you know, oh, kids need this, the house need that, oh, my work need this, but my business also needs that. What about our relationship? You know, before there were 3, 4, 5, there are 2 people in this relationship. So it's really important to make a commitment to yourself, to your relationship. I will say at least once a week. Number 3, tip number 3, communicate your need, because we have different needs at different times. And communicate your need. Normally our needs is based on our top values. All right, so your need right now, by linking it to your partner's top value or top needs. I will give the example of recently I communicate to my husband, because I felt that we haven't been connected for some time, too busy again. I said, do you know what? To me, relationship is as important as avoiding junk food and exercising for you, because his top values are fitness, right? Fitness, good food, that's his top value. My top value is my work and my relationship. But in this moment, I feel that there's a void in our relationship. So I communicate, do you know what? Like, I feel that we haven't been focusing on a relationship lately. To me, relationship is as important as fitness and not eating junk food to you. So I'm linking it. So he understand, okay, this is what Ingrid needs. Ingrid needs at the moment. And I'm trying my best to avoid pointing and blaming by using the I language, not the you language. It's like, you caused this, you know, you don't put our relationship at the top. That's why I feel like this. I feel a void. Like, but if you notice my language before, you know, to me, relationship is very important, just like fitness and not eating junk food to you. So we avoid the pointing and blaming because it won't work. And especially during the time of the month, whereby you feel more needy, you feel more moody, it's just so easy to fall back to the pointing and blaming type of communication. So yeah, so my suggestion will be communicate your need right now by linking it to your partner's top value. So those are my top 3 tips.
Good. Yeah, very true.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you. So now, people, we're on to the fun part of the podcast, which is guessing the true and false statement. So Denise gave me 2 statements. Denise went to a workshop to learn how to give a really good head. Number 2, Denise facilitated the workshop how to give really good head. I love this, so juicy. Which one? I will guess statement number 2 is correct. Denise facilitated the workshop how to give really good head. Am I correct?
Oh, no. No, it's actually false, Ingrid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's false. I actually, I was over in Perth, living in Perth, and there's a practice called white tigress, and she came to Perth, and so I joined her workshop,
Mhm.
and it was all about how to give really good head, and it was just fantastic. And there was about 50 women in the room, so you felt okay. Yeah, all these women wanting to give their men pleasure, and
So no men,
technique.
only women.
No, only women, no men.
Yep.
And we actually practiced on, they brought us our own dildos to practice on.
Yes.
And so we just get the technique and things like that. And it was really interesting because everyone was quite hush hush and a bit shy, and
Yes.
then after the workshop, everyone, and I was single at the time, and I just wanted to go and give a man head, and it was like, oh my God, Denise, don't do that. So,
That can be your superpower, you know? If Wonder Woman has her own superpower, because a Wonder Woman movie just recently came out, so I relate this to Wonder Woman. Hey, if Wonder Woman has their shield, has her armband, giving head is your superpower.
well, it is now for my partner, when he's good.
Yeah. When he's doing his to-do list, you can reward him with the head, good head.
Yeah. When we're connected in relationship, as my superpower comes out.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And so, would you like to guess my true and false statement?
Yeah, what is your true and false statement?
Oh, my brother thought I'm going to kill him. Or my client thought I'm going to kill him.
I reckon brothers are more frustrating. So maybe number one.
You are incorrect. Because guess what? I am the only child, so I have no brother. Yes. So, yeah, it was my client thought that I'm going to kill him. So the story was back then, 22 years ago, I worked for this five-star hotel day spa, and this guest came from Singapore, and I introduced myself. Hi, Mr. Such and Such. My name is Ingrid. I'll be your therapist for the day. Let's go through the treatment room. And he said, are you Ingrid? I said, yes, I'm Ingrid. Oh, I thought in my head Ingrid will be this big, Swedish, blonde woman that will kill me. I said, I may be little, but I can kill you too. With my pressure.
Oh, I love it.
So yeah, and then I performed a massage and he was happy. No, I didn't end up killing him. So Denise, my last question to you. What do you do either to relax or add raunchiness into your relationship?
Oh, well, I ask my partner to book in our diaries to do tantric sex.
Wonderful.
So we do, yeah, and that just is good. That's so good for both of us. Yeah, just to reconnect and relax, and get that pent up energy out.
Yes. Well, having sex, especially tantric sex, can be so good to release the pent up energy and bring
Yes,
a couple
yes,
together.
yes. And because I got a superpower too,
Oh,
that helps.
yes. Amazing. Love it, love it, love it. Oh, thank you so much, Denise. I've been having so much fun interviewing you. And people, next week I will have another awesome guest coming to this podcast, talking about various tips and about life or relationship. And Denise, if people want to connect with you, how they do that?
They can go to my website.
Mhm.
Do you want me to say my website? Yeah.
Yeah, just mention it. Yes.
Okay, so it's wombdevotion.com. Yeah.
Wombdevotion.com. Wonderful.
Yeah.
And people, if you can like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ingrid Galloway, that'll be great. And if you need to ask more questions about relationship or you want to have a chat with me, definitely you can have a chat with me. Just request it on my website, www.kahyangan.com.au. That is KAHYANGAN.com.au, and you can connect with me. So thank you so much, Denise, for coming. I've been having lots of fun, and we discover our superpower. And keep well. Lots of love. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Ingrid. Thank you.